Hey, the chariots are part of our history. Because when the prophet Elisha saw the chariots, he said, my father, he saw the so-called UFOs. He said, my father, the chariots of Israel and the horsemen there. So the chariots are part of our history. In slavery, right, we sang a song, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. There were no planes back then. So what chariot were we talking about? We're talking about the so-called UFOs. So the chariots are part of our history, brothers. So you go
that the slaves was reading the Bible, and they knew that they were Israelites, and they knew that the chariots were those they call them chariots. They were majestic, angelic chariots. You know?
So you're gonna see a chariot at the appointed time.
All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Brakah Quadash, double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all you sincere Aki and pushing this word out across the four corners of the earth. This lesson is entitled, As Birds Flying. Isaiah 31:4. For thus have Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua spoken unto me, like as a lion and a young lion roaring on his prey. When a multitude of shepherds is called forth against him, he will not be afraid of their voice, nor abase himself for the noise of them. So shall Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua of hosts come down to fight for Mount Zion, and for the hill thereof. Verse 5. As birds flying, so will Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it.
If you've ever wondered why birds flock in this beautifully symmetrical shape, scientists now have an answer. But tracking these birds in flight was only possible thanks to a conservation team that's training these critically endangered birds to migrate. These are northern bald ibises. Once widespread, they've now been wiped out in Europe by hunting. So this team is using a microlight to guide the captive bred birds along their lost migration route. And by fitting data loggers to the ibises, scientists were able to monitor their speed, heading, and every single beat of their wings. This revealed that the birds positioned themselves perfectly to gain lift from the bird in front. As a bird flies forwards, it pushes air down with its wings. The air is then squeezed around the outer edge of the wings, so at the wing tips, it moves upwards. By flying at the wing tip of the bird in front, a bird can save energy, getting a free ride on this upwash of air. And most surprisingly, the birds even timed their wing beats to match the bird in front and keep the tips of their own wings on this upward moving air.
They're up there in the sky in this huge 3D environment, and despite that, they're able to somehow sense what's going on from the bird in front, where this good air is coming from, and how to position themselves perfectly in it. So from a sensory point of view, it's really incredible.
The V formation, it seems, is an example of just how much we have to learn from nature's own energy-saving tactics.
I couldn't help at one point in my discussions privately with General Secretary Gorbachev, when you stop to think that we're all God's children, wherever we may live in the world, I couldn't help but say to him, just think how easy his task and mine might be in these meetings that we held if suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species, from another planet, outside in the universe. We'd forget all the little local differences that we have between our countries, and we would find out once and for all that we really are all human beings here on this earth together. Well, I don't suppose we can wait for some alien race to come down and threaten us, but I think that between us we can bring about that realization. In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war? I think maybe I'd answer it this way. I keep, in my frustration sometimes, you know, actually, if you count some of the things going on in smaller countries and all, there have been about 114 wars since World War II. But I've often wondered, what if all of us in the world discovered that we were threatened by a power from outer space, from another planet? Wouldn't we all of a sudden find that we didn't have any differences between us at all? We were all human beings, citizens of the world, and wouldn't we come together to fight that particular threat?
Habakkuk 3:3. The Most High came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran. Salah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. Verse 4. And his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power. Verse 5. Before him went the pestilence, and burning coals went forth at his feet.